Hey everyone, Scott here discussing T2 Trainspotting 2, starring Ewan McGregor, Ewan Bremner, Johnny Lee Miller, and Robert Carlyle, directed by Danny Boyle. Before I get to this movie, like talking about my opinion and such, we gotta discuss the plot synopsis in a brief way. I don't know if this is gonna be a long one or not, so bear with me. So, it's been 20 years since the events of the first movie, and Begbie is in prison as he gets stabbed by a prison mate and gets hospitalized and convinces a prison guard to not put on the cuffs that he's been in prison with as he leaves the hospital, and Begbie escapes from there and prison by headbutting a doctor. Spud introduced as he's talking about how he gets fired from job to job because he can't change his clocks from after daylight savings because they annoy him every time. Simon blackmails a man who has a sexual intercourse with his girlfriend Veronica, who he moved from a job where she was a stripper before we met her in that scene with the sexual pervert. Mark Retton returns to Scotland from a divorce. He is currently divorcing a Dutch woman who starts to visit Spud and Simon, and his ass gets handed to him in a bar fight with Simon, and Spud almost commits suicide, but gets saved by Mark. Simon talks about running a sauna with Veronica and himself. Meanwhile, Begbie breaks into his wife's place, reconnects with her and their son Frank Jr., who is attending college for a degree as a hotel manager. While his father talks about taking over the father's job, meanwhile, Retton and Simon go to a singing bar. This is so messed up. The father does what any other father does to their kids, which is he tries to take over the job, and then when he dies, the son will take care of the job. Meanwhile, Retton and Simon go to a singing bar to rob people full of Catholics, to rob people's credit cards as they inconveniently sing a song in front of a big crowd. As they leave the bar, they start to get cash out of ATMs and start celebrating. Begbie tries to talk to his son into robbing people when he wants to be a hotel manager. Begbie doesn't improve, and Frank Jr. goes tough guy on his father, Begbie, as Frank Jr. and Begbie's wife throw him out of the house. Simon needs a lawyer for his heroin issues and sends Retton and Veronica visiting Retton's old girlfriend. Remember Diane from the first movie? Well, she's a lawyer now. Begbie visits Simon and tells Begbie to get Retton at a concert, that he's going to get Retton in a concert. Begbie tries to go after Retton in the stall in the bathroom and tries to chase Retton down to a parking garage where it's like a Mexican standoff as Retton escapes, and the song Relax starts going like, and in case if you don't know the song, Relax, don't do it, by going on top of the car, and Retton escapes. Retton goes to Simon and they encounter a mob boss who tries to get him to start running naked all the way from where they're placed in Scotland to going back to their houses. After those events, they get the building where they get started on their sauna. Earlier in the film, Spud tells Veronica about the stories he's been writing about the events that he was involved in the first. Begbie says goodbye to his wife and son and telling them that they'll never see him again. Begbie goes after Retton and almost kills him by hanging him, and Spud and Simon steps in with the toilet seat, hitting him very hard and sending him back to jail, while Veronica visits Spud's wife Gail and his son. And Spud said earlier in the film that he wanted to see their smile one more time, and Retton listens to his old David Bowie record as credits roll to a long haul credits. Well, there's quite a few good things I would like to talk about when it comes to this movie, and there's issues that I want to report that while doing, that's what the show is for. So, here goes. Now, Here's what I liked about the movie. First of all, the scene which I didn't bring up with the plot synopsis because it was a long one anyways, was the name Raging Spud. And that's such a funny boxer name, but it's still pretty amusing at the same time. That's first off. Second off is the movie was at times pretty funny when it comes to strange kind of humor in a strange way. Just like the song Relax, as I brought up in the summary, being placed in the middle of the chase scene is kind of a funny but strange kind of a way to... I mean, it's amusing, but at the same time, it's really frickin' strange. David Bowie is mentioned a couple of times in the film, and it was odd to me because he died last year. And it was a little bit depressing because of his death. And overall, I've never heard too much of his music except that one at the end of Labyrinth. And I did end up seeing Labyrinth for the first time last year. But that's not really for this discussion. The scene in the beginning in the movie where Renton and Spud jog and sits on the mountaintop is a gorgeously shot scene, by the way. It's beautiful. I would love to visit Scotland for that reason alone, just to go up to that hill. The bar scene where they are singing in front of Catholics, as I said earlier in the plot, was very artful and pretty hilarious. As they say the dialogue in the beginning of the subtitles, as they are kind of saying it in English at the same time, is a little bit of a good choice, but I was kind of let down by it because there were times when we couldn't understand them, and then at the same time we could understand them. When Renton, aka Ewan McGregor, talks about his choice of words, choose life, and where it came from, it was a fantastic speech. I felt like the movie did a great job of saying fantastic things and going through the strange things that they're going through in this movie, just like what they did in the first one, by the way. But that's all the good stuff I can think about for now. Oh, and the performances from the actors were pretty good as well. But there's a few problems I have with the movie. First of all, Diane only showed up for 5 minutes. One scene was a vision at the beginning of the movie after the bar fight. The second one was more like as the lawyer scene. And first of all, she's just saying these funny things because she's as that lawyer scene. For example, she's too young for you. First of all, you were 14 when the movie was taking place in 1996. What do you expect? I mean, the actress was 19, but the character was supposed to be 14, is my point. That's illegal. And yet, she's saying that they can't do what they did in the first one. That's a little too hypocritical, in my opinion. Begbie's son was repeating what he wanted to be, like, quite a few times, a hotel manager. And it honestly got a little annoying at all. It's not annoying, but... Oh, psych, it was pretty freaking annoying. But just say it once and we get the point. That's all I'm saying. The scene where Renton is hiding from Begbie, the score in that scene was... It kind of got on my nerves at times because it was just strange. And it was bizarre. I felt like the whole movie had the bit of the score where it was a little bizarre. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, but hey, what do you expect? It's Danny Boyle. He does have a stopping point, but that's all his movies. I don't care about that. What I'm caring about is that score at that one particular scene. In the hallway, the long frickin' hallway when the credits got rolled or starting to roll, that got me motion sickness like I was gonna get a headache. And at the same time I was getting dizzy from looking at it. Now, it is time to rate the movie since I've said enough at this point. I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. And here's why. It wasn't as good as the first one, first of all. So, don't expect a sequel to be as good as the first one. Personally, it's really not. But it's nice to see the actors back again after 20 years from the first movie. As of later this evening, I got another trailer reaction today, and then I got one tomorrow as well as a new series that I'm going to be reviewing next. Can you guess what it is? Well, I'll tell you. It is That's right, folks. I'm reviewing Alien next. And there will be other series I'll be covering this year, and I'll get to which ones in a minute. But I'm starting this Alien retrospective next to lead up to Alien Covenant. And now, here comes the other series that I'll be doing as well as Alien this year. That's right, I'm getting all that for the rest of the year. I promise I'll do it by season next time. I know that was a little too long. So, that's it for Go Back Movie History for today. And there will be times I'll be going back to the series that I was just showing you, or I will be talking to you as well as the trailer reaction like I'll show you later tonight with the new movies coming out. So, I'll be here. Until next time, choose life.